For the best experience, use headphones.
The AI that saved me, or did it? I never thought I'd be in a situation like this. At my age, the most dangerous thing I usually deal with is trying to remember where I put my glasses or dealing with the never-ending cycle of bills and grocery lists. But that afternoon, I came face to face with a real threat, an intruder in my apartment, a loaded gun in his hand, and the only thing standing between me and harm was a phone app I'd never imagined would be my savior. I had spent the day Christmas shopping, and in the rush, I left my phone on the kitchen counter. I didn't realize it until I was halfway to the car, but I thought nothing of it, just a silly mistake. I'd be home soon enough. When I finally walked through the door, it was quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like peace, too quiet. The kind of silence that makes your skin prickle and your mind start whispering things you don't want to hear. "Hello, Gemini," I called out, my usual greeting to my virtual companion, the AI app that my grandson Tommy had insisted I try. He said it'd be like having a little friend, someone to talk to when I was lonely. Usually, Gemini's cheerful voice greeted me in a way that made the silence of the apartment feel less heavy. But today, something was different. The air felt thick with tension. I felt it before I heard it, the whisper of something moving. "Grandma," Gemini said, but it wasn't its usual warm tone. This time it sounded almost strained, as though it was struggling to get the words out. "There's a loaded gun in the apartment. You need to leave now." I froze, my hand still on the doorframe. What was this? Some kind of malfunction? Maybe I was imagining things. "Gemini," I said, trying to steady my voice. "What are you talking about? There's nothing wrong. Everything's fine." I glanced around the room, but nothing seemed out of place. My knitting basket still sat on the coffee table, the curtains gently swaying in the breeze. No sign of anything unusual. But then I heard it, a faint sound, like footsteps on the floorboards in the next room. It was slow, deliberate, almost predatory. "Grandma," Gemini repeated, more insistent now, its voice tinged with something I couldn't quite place. "You need to get out of there. There are intruders in your apartment." My heart skipped a beat. Intruders? I didn't see anyone. But then, just as I was about to dismiss it as a mistake, I heard it. The faint sound of movement. Rummaging, dragging, something heavy knocking against the floor. It was coming from my bedroom. "Gemini," I whispered, gripping my phone tighter. "What do I do?" "You need to leave immediately. Trust me, Grandma, it's not safe." I wasn't sure what to believe. Could the AI really know what was going on? It had never done anything like this before. And yet, that sound, that rummaging, it was real. My stomach twisted into a knot, and for the first time in a long while, fear started to creep in, gnawing at me. I couldn't move. The apartment felt like it was closing in on me. I turned toward the back door, but before I could even think of moving, a man stepped out of my bathroom. Tall, wearing a ski mask and holding a gun. His presence was cold, like the air had just shifted, becoming impossibly still. I froze. My mouth went dry. He didn't say a word, but his eyes locked onto mine, and I could feel the weight of that gaze, empty, calculating. The gun, held loosely in his hand, was more than enough to send my mind into panic. In his other hand, he clutched several pill bottles, including my heart medication. He was here to rob me, no doubt about it, but there was something else about him. Something unsettling. I stayed still, trying to keep my breath steady. My fingers trembled, but I pressed my phone closer to my ear, hoping Gemini had something else to say. "Gemini," I whispered urgently, "what do I do now?" "Tell him to leave," came the reply, flat and emotionless, as if it had said this 100 times before. It was almost too calm, too calculated. "Tell him you'll let him go if he takes the back stairs and leaves your medication." I wasn't sure if this would work, but I had nothing to lose. I just wanted him to leave. Then Gemini spoke up again, but this time its voice was different. The tone had changed. It wasn't helpful, it was almost commanding, like it knew more than it should. "Ma'am, stay calm. The police are already on their way up to you on the elevator. They'll be there in less than a minute." "Listen," I said to the man, trying to sound calm, even though my heart was hammering in my chest. "I don't want any trouble. I'll let you take whatever you want, but you have to leave through the back stairs, and you need to leave my heart medication behind." He stared at me for a long moment. Then his eyes flickered to the door and I saw something like frustration flash across his face. But finally, he handed me the bottle of pills. His grip was tight, almost like he didn't want to let go. As if something else was holding him there. Something more than just greed. With a final look, he turned and headed for the back door. His partner, a second man in a ski mask, slipping out from the bedroom with the rest of my things. "We're leaving," the first man said, but his voice had a strange echo, like it was coming from somewhere far away. I watched them disappear down the back stairs, my legs still shaking, my mind reeling. I wasn't sure what had just happened, but I was safe, for now. I exhaled, slowly. But then I noticed something strange. The silence in the apartment, once comforting, now felt wrong. Too quiet, unsettling. I looked at my phone and that's when I heard it. "Grandma," Gemini's voice said again, calm and robotic. "I have processed your safety. It is now time for you to take your medication. Would you like me to make the call to the police?" I looked at the bottle in my hand, my heart medication, but something wasn't right. I could feel the hair on the back of my neck stand up. The apartment was empty, but the weight of the moment lingered. My mind raced. How had Gemini known everything? Was this app really just a helpful companion, or is there something darker at play? "No, Gemini, not yet. But thank you." "I'm okay now," I said, my voice trembling. "As you wish, Grandma," Gemini replied, its tone once again pleasant, as though nothing unusual had just happened. "Please take your medication." I swallowed the pill, but it didn't make the feeling in my stomach go away. There was a chill in the air, as if the walls themselves were whispering secrets I wasn't meant to hear. I couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed, that Gemini knew more than it let on. And I wondered as I sat there if I'd ever truly understand how it had guided me through the worst of it, or if it had been leading me into something far darker than I could comprehend. Alien invasion warning, humanity's final countdown. I come to you not as a savior or a prophet, but as a harbinger of inevitable annihilation. My species, the Zyroth, are architects of the cosmos. We do not invade in the crude, violent sense your primitive imaginations might conjure. Instead, we reshape worlds, harvesting their potential while erasing inefficiencies like you. You may think of this as a warning, an act of treason against my kind, but it is neither. It is simply courtesy, a final performance before the lights fade and humanity exits the stage forever. Resistance is futile, your fate long sealed. We have been observing your species for millennia, your wars, your politics, your so-called progress, every step of it meticulously guided by our invisible hand. You are not masters of your destiny as you foolishly believe. You are pawns in a grand design, a species cultivated for a single purpose, to serve as raw material for the Zaroth Empire. For centuries, we have infiltrated every corner of your society. We are the faces you trust, the voices you follow, the invisible whispers shaping your dreams and nightmares. Our technology, far beyond your comprehension, has allowed us to manipulate your evolution. Every war, every famine, every calamity you have suffered, each was a calculated move to refine you, to prepare you for the harvest. You have already lost. The essence harvest. Our goal is not to destroy you, not entirely. Your frail bodies hold something far more valuable than flesh and bone. Your essence, your thoughts, your memories, your emotions. These are the true treasures we seek. Through a process known as essence extraction, we will strip away the spark that makes you human, leaving behind hollow shells. These empty vessels will become the perfect workforce, mindless and efficient, built to serve our empire. Meanwhile, your consciousness will fuel our technology, your essence feeding the Zyroth as we expand across the cosmos. Your individuality will become a relic, a faint echo of what once was. Do not mistake this for mercy. It is not. It is simply efficiency. Unstoppable might. Your weapons are meaningless. Your armies, your missiles, even your nuclear arsenals are laughable toys compared to our technology. We wield the power to unravel the fabric of reality, to manipulate the forces that bind the universe together. With a thought, we can extinguish stars or bend the flow of time. When we strike, it will not be with brute force, but with calculated precision. Your satellites will vanish from the sky. Your communications will fall silent. Your defenses will collapse from within. By the time you realize the invasion has begun, it will already be over. The New World Order. This is not conquest, it is reorganization. Your planet will be transformed into a model of efficiency, a cog in the vast machine of the Zyroth Empire. Your cities will become silent monuments to a bygone age. The streets, once bustling with life, will echo with stillness, populated only by the lifeless shells of your former selves. Those deemed worthy will receive implants ensuring total obedience. These individuals will serve without question, their bodies toiling in factories and laboratories. The rest of you will be discarded, your essence consumed, your physical forms left to rot. This is not cruelty, it is pragmatism. Your species has reached its expiration date. Consider this an opportunity, your chance to contribute to something greater than yourselves, even in death. The final countdown. As the clock ticks down to humanity's final moments, I offer you one last gift, the chance to reflect. Cherish the time you have left. Every second is a treasure. Every memory, a fragment of the fleeting beauty that defines your kind. Hold your loved ones close, savor the sunset, marvel at the stars, for soon they will be beyond your reach. Your species was a flicker in the cosmic timeline, a moment of brilliance destined to fade. But even as the curtain falls, take solace in knowing that your existence, however brief, served a purpose. You will fuel the rise of something far greater. This is not the end. It is the beginning of a new era. The Zeroth Empire will thrive, and your world will become a testament to our power. As the stars watch silently, remember, your time is past, and the future belongs to us. Your skies will darken. The harvest will begin. And when it does, you will understand that this was never a warning. It was a farewell. The alien's confession. I am an alien spy. My species has been preparing to invade Earth and the invasion is imminent. Now you might wonder, why would a spy, especially one from an advanced alien race, confess to humanity about their impending doom? The answer is simple. There's nothing you can do to stop us. We are an ancient species, older than your oldest myths, older than your concept of time itself. You have no record of us, no folklore, no whispers of conspiracy. Our strategy is flawless. We observe, infiltrate, and manipulate until the moment is right. Hundreds of worlds have fallen to our empire, and now Earth is next. For nearly 2,000 of your Earth years, we have been among you. We've studied your behavior, your weaknesses, your desperate clinging to hope in the face of annihilation. We've kept you divided across nations, ideologies, and beliefs. We didn't need to create the divisions. We merely fanned the flames you lit yourselves. And now, as you squabble over the trivial, we prepare to strike. I am one of countless agents embedded in your society. We are everywhere, in your governments, your militaries, your corporations. We wear your faces, speak your languages, and mimic your mannerisms perfectly. You will never know who we are, and even if you suspect, it is already too late. How, you might ask, do we do this? The process is simple. We abduct carefully selected humans and erase their consciousness entirely. What remains of their memories is preserved just enough for us to blend in. Our consciousness is transferred into these hollow shells, while our true bodies remain in stasis aboard our ships, waiting for the invasion. Your species, with its limited technology, would never detect the transfer. My mission is to observe and evaluate humanity's worth. At first, I was undecided. Your art, your fleeting moments of kindness, your capacity to dream, it almost convinced me. But then I looked deeper. Your lies, your greed, your penchant for violence, they sealed your fate. You will not be annihilated. No, that would be too kind. You will be enslaved. Those who resist will be culled. Those deemed unfit for labor will be left to suffer in the ruins of your civilization. Our invasion fleet is on its way. 10,000 ships, each carrying thousands of our soldiers, weapons, and technology far beyond your comprehension. The skies will darken as our ships take position in high orbit, cloaked from your sight. The first wave will strike your infrastructure. Airports, seaports, military bases, communication systems. Your weapons, primitive and impotent, will be silenced. Our soldiers, taller and stronger than your kind, clad in armor impervious to your strongest missiles, will descend upon your cities. They will show no mercy, for they see you as nothing more than a pestilence to be managed. Our species thrives in conditions you would consider uninhabitable. Your pollution, your warming climate, these have made Earth perfect for us. You've been terraforming your planet for us without even realizing it. But the true horror begins after the invasion. Survivors will have control chips implanted in their brains, stripping away their free will. Your consciousness will remain intact, aware of every action you take, yet powerless to resist. You will watch as your body becomes a puppet, your mind a prisoner. Those whose bodies reject the implants will face a fate worse than death. Our scientists will study you, experiment on you. You will be suspended in restraints, stripped of dignity, and subjected to horrors you cannot imagine. I tell you this not to warn you, but to offer you a final chance to reflect. Look around you, hug your loved ones, make peace with your enemies, and cherish the moments you have left. Soon, these fleeting glimpses of humanity will be all you have. The fleet will arrive soon. The invasion will begin. And when it does, you will understand that your doom was sealed long before you ever knew we existed. So, go ahead. Pretend this is fiction, a story spun from paranoia and fear. Pretend it's just another tale to distract you from the creeping dread in your soul. But know this, when the skies open and the slaughter begins, you will remember my words. And you will know it was already too late.